They have the key to the lock, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. That's taken care of then. So next is council comments.
I've got a couple of things. One thing I'd like to do is give support and encouragement to the Tourism Commission in obtaining the Rotary Park. They've done a lot of work over there, and I just think that I would like to support them in their efforts in trying to get the Rotary Park. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Leo Miller, which I was telling him, or Paul Miller before he left. But I'd like to thank Paul Miller and Leo Miller, David Kennedy, Mike Jones, Judge Gresham, for all the work that they've done helping us with their expertise, volunteer, even if we've had to pay them. I really do appreciate it for them coming up and helping find some leaks and things. And also would like to acknowledge the 2 city employees that did find a leak in Blair Park that helped in the repairing of everything. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, their names was Cornett and Eldridge.
Jimmy Cornett and Charles Eldridge.
Okay, I didn't know what their first names was. But I do want to thank them for finding that leak, because it was not where they thought it was, and they found it. Also, I have to say that I want to really thank the clerks, Robin, Teresa, and Kelly, because I was in here a couple of times last month getting my stuff out of the box, in between work or whenever. And how some people talk to them is appalling. They should not be subject. No, I'm talking how they, it's just totally, and I'll just say it, it's totally ignorant how some people are treated, and it shouldn't be done that way. And you were under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, people calling you, expecting you to be able to do something and stuff. And I was here one day when one person did blast you, and you were just answering a question. And I want to say you girls really are a lot stronger person than I am. So, and I do want to thank you all while all these issues with the waters was going on, and the city employees too, because they were given a hard time too. So, and I do appreciate y'all. But I think that as a community as a whole, a lot of people came and helped the city of Cumberland, and even Monarch, C.J. Boggs, all those people that came in and helped. I personally want to thank them. And that's all I have to say.
Everybody should have to work with the public.
They should.
It should be a high school
I've
course.
been in here when they had to deal with some of them. You were, that one day we were here, I couldn't believe some of the cousins.
I can't believe how.
Somebody cussed me like that. Silas had me locked up.
It's just uncalled for. I've just.
I don't know how they do it. It's a lot easier. You get a lot more done when you.
They get angry, and they just.
I know people get upset. I've worked in the public for 30 some years, and I've worked in some jobs that, I've been cussed every day. But some of the things that people have to deal with.
What was
You
this, where
girls.
the water was off or something?
Yeah.
That's one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a general customer coming.
Yeah, I think the day I was in here was just in general, and I was thinking, well, I hate to see
It
it on a
wasn't
busy day.
There wasn't nothing going on
It wasn't a
that day.
busy day, was it?
No.
Well, I was at a local store, and this lady was telling me her husband was a construction worker, and he had not been able to come home and take a bath, and I could not, she said, I don't know how many days she said, and they could not cook supper, I guess that probably frustrated, and you are the first ones that they see, but I'm glad that is fixed.
We are too.
Mm-hmm. But you all, I appreciate all the city workers, and some of the things that they have to tolerate is ridiculous. So, anyway, I'm done.
I drove through Cumberland 2 or 3 times,
And I see a bad example being set by the police department. I don't know who's responsible. But we have sat here in council meetings and discussed parking on sidewalks. The police are parking on sidewalks. It shouldn't be done. Remember when we had that in council meeting and we discussed that? Running the sidewalks? It's a bad example.
Fire station on the sidewalk, I mean,
I don't know who's doing it and don't really care. It just shouldn't be done because it's a bad example.
Would you, Silas, would you make a note of that, pass it on?
I will. I'll try to put a memo out today.
Yeah, 'cause we sat and discussed that about some of them running their sidewalks through here,
wanna do
you know,
the same
people
thing
parking
for
on them.
everybody. I
Yeah.
don't know who's doing it,
I
by the
park
way.
across the street, and because I'm scared to death, get the side swipe, getting out of my car.
I think that happened one time before, when my brother was here, somebody actually hit the cruiser while it was
Because
sitting
the
on the side
headlights
of the
were
road.
bright.
Yeah, they just ran right into it. And it
But
parked.
anyway, I mean, you're encouraging citizens. They'll say, well, the police department's doing it, so why can't I do it? And I agree with them. Why can't you?
Well, just recently, we had one car parked up in front of cash and checks up there and busted the water meter, the cover, the lid, you know.
They're not strong enough to take that.
No.
Plus, they probably been there.
And another thing is, do we have a police officer that is driving a vehicle to Lowell every day, driving back and forth?
Not that I know of.
We don't have one that is taking a vehicle to Lowell?
What do you, Silas, are they?
No,
No?
No, they're not supposed to go more than 10 miles.
Okay.
They'd be in
he
violation.
took one to jail one night, right at 9:45, he arrested. To prevent overtime, he was scheduled back at day shift. I told him to stay at his house, come back at day shift. And that was just to prevent any overtime. My outlook, trying to keep overtime down, the police department, keep costs down. And maybe one time home, that was it.
And he was transporting a prisoner.
That's fine. That's fine. I had just heard that that had happened, and I didn't know what the story was, so I said, well, I'll
While
ask.
we're on that subject, if you would, on the morning report, if a car goes out of city limits or outside like that more than 10 miles, put it on that morning report remark section, okay?
Okay.
So the day after it happens, that way
And then you'll be covered too.
I'll be covered.
That's all I have.
Excuse me.
The only thing I have is, I had a person tell me that our police officer that, I don't know his name, that is from Lowell, was working the streets of Lowell last night. So I had that comment from an officer, our officer who's working as officer in Lowell. 2 jobs.
No, that's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah, you
but
can't
it's
do
not-
that. That's
it's
not legal.
Okay.
You can't work for
I
it.
Can
had,
you check in with
Can't
that?
be bonded.
Yeah,
He said it was in Cumberland half the night last night.
No, you can't have.
They just had
Well,
told
they
me
didn't-
today, that's the only thing that
Did
I
they
had.
say which officer? No?
It was one of our officers that was in Lowell, was working the last night in Lowell.
Yeah, he's gone.
He took Norma home.
Is that one was here?
Silas, can you explain that? Or would you have any knowledge of it?
Was him working 2 jobs?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Was he working last night in
No,
Lowell?
he was in Cumberland last night.
Yeah, 'cause he can't be a police officer
He's
two
got-
different places.
I don't know, but they had told me.
I know he was at my house from 8 till 11 because we was watching Monday Night Raw. Last night. And, but he left my house about 15, 20 minutes after 11, and he got with, I think Cody. I think they rode the Whitesburg. So, there's no way that he could be in at Lowell work.
You kind of check it out for us, Silas?
Yeah.
Keep it.
Oh, that was just, somebody told me today, that's the only thing, I had to
Did they say
follow
what
on
time?
his horse.
With the times we're having right now.
You and Miss Elliott need to get together and see if it's the same one that's telling.
Yeah, we do.
It could
Yeah.
be. Somebody's got to be for that kind
But
of
now
thing.
the one that told me told the truth because it was down at Lowell. That he did take this car to Lowell.
Did the same.
Let's tell you one time or many times.
No, it just said that it had gone to Lowell, and I thought, well, that car is not supposed to be in Lowell.
But that's all I have. I guess I just made.
With the times we're in, we probably need to really limit as much of take home stuff as we can.
I think that
Well,
Well,
no, I'm just saying,
the mayor, you know, really should know
Conservative level
that,
without
Silas, when it goes out like you said, you know, then it'd be covered because,
Yeah, it's a good recovery. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
you could contact them, they could get back in time for an emergency. That's the whole key.
what?
10-mile radius, you know. You know, if they take a car home, they could get back in time to help in the case of.
Yeah, that's about like going to
we
Lynch and
said that
back.
a while back.
Yeah.
The only thing I had was, spending with our, or putting all of our resolutions, ordinances with our local paper to make sure we do that. Because I noticed you had a memo in here about using Harlan Daily, I believe it was. Which one was
It's frozen
that? But
back
anyway,
up.
that's, we had a memo or something in there about
It
that.
probably
and,
needs a service, it needs to be
Yeah.
free on.
We really need to
maybe
try
a
to
leak.
utilize
We
our
did
local.
put it on my office tonight.
There's a time when they
But
need
it was on my
to
office
some
today, though.
Harlan Daily.
Where did I put it on?
That would, crazy.
Is that all you had?
Yep, that's it.
No.
Huh?
We're being good tonight.
Make a motion to approve this
Yeah, that's right.
What is it?
for the employees to work on July the 4th.
Oh,
and take
yeah.
off the 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're doing fireworks on the 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, the 6th.
Wednesday's not even, well, we
Yeah.
were in a
Do
couple
we
of
really
even
need to approve?
Do we have to,
No, yeah, the council's the one
In the
that
basement, one's in the basement,
council's the one that
one's in the
proclaims the holiday.
Now, what is it we're doing? I missed that.
Switching, letting them off.
they're wanting to go on the 6th
Letting them off, yeah.
We're gonna let them off on the 6th.
Yeah.
Instead of the 4th?
instead of the
Instead of
4th. They
4th.
want off, the employees want off because of the fireworks.
They're doing everything on the 6th.
And it's on a Friday.
Suits
6th
me
is
fine.
Friday.
I make a motion to approve it.
Now, I make a second at the end, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would
with me.
want to be off on Friday
It's on
too.
a Friday, I give them a good
Long
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah.
And all the employees was asking about it.
Yeah.
Not just us in here.
Well, that's fine. I mean,
Be better if you was here on
That's the first
Wednesday
I heard
anyway,
of it.
because people's not even gonna, they're just gonna be still running
Well,
paying their
yeah, all
bills.
business will be open and
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
The bills.
Is everybody in favor?
yeah,
Motion's made and seconded.
All in
Adjournment.
favor, aye?
All in
They're
favor,
all
so
done.
indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. I believe that's all.
Thank you all.
Is that all?
You're so
On
welcome.
behalf of the residents in Lower Fairview, we'd like to thank the mayor's office and the city employees for working to get our bridge fixed. And the residents of Upper Fairview, I'm sure, are very happy that we don't have to travel through their neighborhood anymore. I heard several complaints of too much traffic out through there. I'd like to commend the police department on their hard work. I've seen several articles in Harlan Daily where they've made arrests and thefts and so forth.
Good bunch, good crew.
Can I ask one question? Are you finished, David? May I add something to that bridge deal? May I ask a question? These people were EPA approved to go into the river that did that job. They had approval and
From the state and the Corps of Engineers.
you
But they didn't go into the river.
they worked in the river though.
They pulled out the debris that was failing. No, they didn't get in the river. They just pulled out the debris and made a foundation for those pylons.
I'm glad they fixed it, but I thought that was good expense for 3 baskets.
And, well, there's a lot of groundwork that we had to structure.
But as long as it's fixed,
Yeah. Well, if
fixed is
oh,
fixed. As long as
we
it's
got
drive across it.
audience to go yet,
Maybe they'll
don't
get
we?
around to giving them a new one.
I don't believe none of them want to say anything. They just look like they don't.
They don't, they're not listening to us.
And that's a small bridge, so it should, I mean, it should take, they probably prefab it.
The one on Spring
Drop it
Street,
off.
the small bridge on Spring Street.
On Spring Street.
Huh?
Bridge on
Yeah.
It's-
Diamond Bridge on Spring Street, where Stanley Sturgill was overseeing it. Oh, okay. that's a
Did
different-
somebody?
No, this is the one, goes over to David's house.
Blair
Southern.
Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that bridge is so tiny, they could probably prefab it.
Well, Carl, did engineers determine the weight sign that's up there now, or
They
was
did,
that just
yeah,
stuck
they
up there?
It's a 6-ton bridge downgraded to a 3-ton.
So the engineers said, yes, this is safe to go across 3.
Mike West.
So we can't
Okay,
take the
I
garbage
just wanna
truck
make
across.
sure.
No,
There-
no.
The garbage truck's still going across it. The UPS truck has started going across it again.
They
They
need
need
to,
to-
they're violating the laws.
Well,
Yeah.
if they go across it and the bridge was to collapse, I mean, we'd be at fault. They're not supposed to, I wouldn't take that garbage truck
The
across
garbage truck
there.
would be the worst.
It's
His
heavy.
truck, let him go.
It's
Yeah, garbage truck is too big to be going
I don't know
across
how
there.
much UPS truck weighs. I know that garbage truck.
UPS, they don't weigh any more than that,
I
though.
don't think the bus has been going across it. I think he's been.
He stops, he pulls up there and the kid walks across.
He turns there in the parking lot. I've seen him do it at the events.
This is one of those situations we have to Band-Aid it until we can fix it
That's what
Again.
that's.
again. I'm sure it won't be the last time.
That, over in Fairview, most of those streets will be blacktop as soon as, you know, you've already got the, seen that.
All of that area over there, even where the water stands in the road.
Yeah,
We got that fixed.
Oh, did y'all fix that drain?
yeah.
They're all tickled to death over there.
I mean, I went through there, not to drag out the meeting, but I went through there and I bet there was a foot of water in the
Woman
road.
said a kid could drown, didn't it?
Well, you couldn't walk through, you couldn't even walk on the sidewalk to
What
get
she
to your
said.
house. I'm glad you fixed it, they needed that.
But it-
They need the pavement too.
It'll be black, yeah, it does. That's the worst streets in the city.
Mayor, we didn't even give Silas an opportunity to see if he had
He's
anything to
gonna
say.
give you next. That's all. So, Dallas,
Yeah,
it's your turn, mate.
everybody's got a copy of the police report on it.
Yeah, he gave us a copy.
That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate it.
We got-
Silas, the police department has done a really good job. I meant to thank y'all too, but
Britt Ross is the last one.
Yeah.
Brett
I
Ross.
had Brett here, I was going to
They'll
introduce
haul
Brett to you guys
yeah,
as I do a
Tony
solid.
Williams.
yeah,
Oh, he's working right now.
yeah.
Silence.
Wayne, Jason.
Jason, is all these academy trained?
No.
How many we got? How many?
Cody and Jason.
Let's see, Jason and Cody are recruits.
Yeah. The rest of them are academy trained.
What positions do they all hold? I know Wayne's the chief.
Silas is Silas and Dale acting as, Silas is a sergeant, Dale's acting as sergeant. And the rest of them are patrol officers. They're all patrol officers.
Now, the patrol officers all make the same pay?
And after the fence, yeah, they're all in the same scheduled grade. The recruits get $9 an hour. The patrol officers, after they finish their probationary period, gets $11 an hour. The patrol officer that under 6 months gets $10 an hour.
The new guy,
Brett,
what'd you call him?
Brett,
He makes the same as the other patrol officers?
yes,
It's academy.
And what we pay the chief again, what is it? 14?
$14. The sergeants get 12.
Patrol officers 10 until the probationary period, and then they go to
11.
sounds good. Ready to adjourn?
No, we
Oh,
got
council comment?
Public comment.
I had a question. Well, remember 4 or 5 years ago when the house at Hiram caught on fire right beside of Austin's and burnt? They had just filled that tank up that morning with gasoline. And I remember there was some comments, and a lot of the council were approached at that time because the fire department here didn't respond. It was Harlan, Putney.
Pretty much everybody.
Wasn't it Sunshine?
Gordon, there was quite a few that showed up down there at Cumberland hadn't. The meeting that followed that fire, the council had agreed at that time and had gone on record with approving that the police department would respond to any fire, obviously within the city, but.
Fire department.
Regardless if they paid or not. They see
And
them
the
do.
outlying areas, and they even went one step further, Yvonne, you remember this.
That's
That
right.
they would even respond to any fire in the county if they were asked for assistance, and I was just wondering if that was still in effect.
That's the law. That's exactly the way the law reads.
We need to
The
make
city
sure it's
has
done.
to, this is the KRS, the city has to respond when they're requested, and then they can send a bill to the insurance company, the home, or the homeowner.
Right, the reason why I was asking is, there was a fire, it's been a while back, probably at least a month and a half, but it was 0.4 miles, 0.4 outside of city limits on the O Road. It was a brush fire, and it was after dark at that time, so it was kind of late, but Putney had to come all the way up here. And I heard that siren forever down there where I live on that street, and, Sammy and I were standing outside, and I said, I don't have a clue what that is. It doesn't sound like an ambulance, it doesn't sound like a state police, because when they go through, you don't really hear anything but a whoosh. But I had no clue what it was, and Sammy said, well, that's Putney. And I think we heard that forever, and it was going, and their truck is, it's so raggedy, I don't know, but I'm really appreciative that they do get out, because that is a good ways down there, but if Putney has to respond to something that's just that short of a distance outside of Cumberland, which that was a brush fire that night, but if it was a structure, it's gone. I mean, that house
how
on the
can the-
right side of Austin, there was no saving that.
And how can the
whatsoever.
public feel safe if their house burns? If Cumberland's not gonna do anything?
Do you know if somebody called up here? Or
Well,
I
I
don't know.
talked to one of them that was on the fire department, and she told me that, that it was mentioned. And I said, well, something about the city limits, that it was outside city limits. And I said, well, I don't know, because I never remember, you know, I've come to all these meetings, and I never remember that particular agreement.
And we said
motion
to
through the council
respond
ever
to all
being-
fire.
being revoked, and, you know, and aside from that too, I know that there's been, you know, responses like on Slope Hollow for brush fires and that sort of thing. And in that area, I don't even think it was around any houses, and this was down there around where Jackie Cornett lives, Crow. And, it was right there sort of in front of their house on that bank. But I was just wondering.
Do we still have
But it-
members on the fire department?
It doesn't matter what the council says or does, the fire department must respond, because that's a state law. We can't, that's a KRS statute.
You might just run it by them.
And Carl,
I remember that meeting.
That was a horrible fire in Austin.
I remember
Yeah.
the incident, but
He was, everybody was told, I mean, before their meeting, to make sure that everybody was aware of the fact that they must respond if they're requested to do so.
But I
Even
mentioned
if
that
they're
to
not
her.
requested, they should go to the fire.
I had mentioned that to her, and I said, you know, I was under the impression that they were supposed to go regardless, you know, that there
That's it.
really wasn't, I mean,
I just wonder
I know
if they
that,
got-
you know, if there's a fire
they
going
got a call
on
or a
in
page or
Wool, you know, Cumberland's probably not
not
going to uproot and go, but
You got
unless
your
they're
recorder out?
requested, but, you know, within Cumberland, that's a given, but, you know, within,
I'll tell you something.
you know, 5 or 10 miles outside of Cumberland, they could probably get there a whole lot faster than Putney.
Well, we got the new radio systems wherever we was on. We got all the new radios for the guys to pick up.
See,
Almost
that's a
every
problem
channel.
right there.
There's a different brand.
They're different brands.
I know we got them.
Yeah.
Whether it's
They're
different
not what
brand
the
or
county has, no. They're
whoever,
not.
whoever bought them, I guess, dropped the ball, but they bought them.
And that
They sure
frequency
did.
be put in the radio?
David and I attended a meeting yesterday at FEMA contract, a grant funding for radio communications and things. And we're gonna try to get some videos for water plants and some of the outlying remote areas, and then radios. We'd like to get one consistent type radio alert system for fire and police departments. See, you have to call 2105 to get the police, or 911 to get the fire department. See, we should be either dial one or the other, but not both, to get both people.
And they end up having to join to 911. Sign up with them rather than go through Harlem Dispatch. That kind of sounds like the easiest thing to do. I could be wrong, I'm just throwing that out there.
Save us $12,000.
Yeah. We already
That's
pay
savings
it.
right there.
We already pay
Do
it.
what?
Your radio's comparable?
Yeah.
to 911?
911.
It really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which do you have
It's on your
the
phone.
So
most
you pay
problem
for it
with,
anyway.
911 or 2105? If you had to, if they had to get a hold of you, do you pick up Harlan Dispatch good or you pick up the police post better?
I think David McGill told us they're trying to go to 911.
Harlan Dispatch has to go ahead and call 911 when we call, don't they? So we're actually paying for a service that we can get free.
The emergency services coordinator told us about a week ago, they're trying to get 911 for all of the telephone services.
Well, the reason I say that, he said,
Was it some meeting that day?
he said our radios aren't working right now. Not working properly.
Well, I told the other night, I said
It was
hollered
at Senior
4 times.
Citizen.
Was that?
We was there, but what was the meeting
And
for?
I finally hollered at them and told
I
them,
betrayed
hey,
you.
this
He was
radio
there.
system will get somebody killed. And they finally answered me then.
Do they know what's wrong with the radio system, or somebody not working on it?
I think the radio tech is actually, I think
I mean,
they change it every other month.
if we're paying for a service, we need to get that service provided, repairs, whatever. It don't seem like it's happening.
Well, your problem is your signal in these mountains. Now, I can tell you that as a ham radio operator.
That's true.
That's what it
but at the
is.
same
It's your
time,
signal in the mountains.
It's like anything else, you pay for a service, they're gonna
Yeah.
have to, we have to join 911, or they're gonna have to update their systems.
You think with the tower that they've got at Kingdom Come Park and one in Bailey's Creek, which, covers both areas on both sides.
That was actually supposed to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm. Supposed to,
And
but
it's made
didn't.
it worse,
Well, when an officer needs backup, you don't usually get a second chance to holler for assistance. It's usually you're in the middle of a fist fight
And
or a gunfight.
it went down. Jason was involved in a altercation, and the radios were down. And I went over and checked on it this morning.
Well, there you go. Who's driving that?
I don't know, that's corner.
There's
corner.
Joseph Corner.
Need to slow down.
It's a radio operator, that was a radio man.
Yeah, the radio man speaking up through town, scratching out. I mean,
I'm just saying, it's kind of obvious. But anyway,
Anyone else in the audience want to express anything?
The only thing I would say is, go back to computers. I know a little bit some computers. E-machines, I think everybody's right. If you're wanting to do something with a lot of files that you don't want crashing, e-machine is not the way to go. It actually is a home computer for personal purposes only. 4 gigabyte, that is nothing compared to what you can get for just a little bit more. And 4 gigabytes not a lot of RAM. I don't care what nobody says. I have little jump drives that have 4 gigabytes on them that hold storage.
Yeah.
You need at least 6 to 8 now to even stay up with, holding all the files, the proper files you need, especially for a whole city.
It takes 1 gigabyte just to run Vista,
Yeah.
just to run the Vista program. That's not counting.
that's what I said. You need to talk
So I'll
to
check it sound.
him again. I would check with Terry again and see what he
I just like
recommends.
to see you get your system all set up. And
You can
crash
log
and
on.
lose.
I'll call the sales.
Log on.
State contract. Good idea, Silas.
We have, the state has Dell contract. The state,
But you know yourself, you can't use a personal computer for a business. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to work.
Yvonne, they didn't have good computers.
He said to check with the state, Dale, what'd you say? State contractors.
Sounds like we're making progress.
Yeah.
They give you good deals, too.
Nobody's arguing.
That's what I started saying, not one.
We're always arguing one time.
Not even the ill word.
I think we've done good. I make a motion we leave before we get into it. Yeah, Carolyn, thank you.
Repaired the air conditioner.
Well, Carolyn beat you. She made the motion to adjourn, David. I second it.
This is the smoothest meeting.
Robin.
I said I make a motion before somebody loses it.
That's what I said.
She made a motion to adjourn. I seconded it.
Gotcha.
Is everybody ready?
I'm ready. Is everybody okay with that?
Is everybody in favor?
Everybody's in